met with the Kaufman Foundation. And they've been known to do a lot of cool stuff with entrepreneurs in the community, and who, the city was looking at what they could do to kind of help create a cool environment. Nathan, he's here, to help kind of connect entrepreneurs and create a space for entrepreneurs. And 1 Million Cups was a program that just started. They were trying to connect, do the same things. They invited all these entrepreneurs to come in for a cup of coffee. And they said, they ended up meeting with a whole bunch of entrepreneurs over a couple months period. And they said, hey, what if we had 1 million cups of coffee, or 1 million cups of coffee with entrepreneurs? And that would be 1 million conversations, and over conversations and things like that, things happen. You get to know people, business happens, the community comes together. So thus 1 million cups. It's been 2 years. We've had over 200 companies present. Over the years, we've had over 20,000 people come into the door. So it's been pretty awesome. And so it's been a lot of fun. We've had Shark Tank companies, we've had entrepreneurs who've been successful, we've had entrepreneurs that have totally crashed and burned, but we've been able to learn from all of it. So it's been a lot of fun, and that's really what we're trying to do, is continue to build the community, give entrepreneurs an opportunity to get feedback from a community that, in the crowd we've got entrepreneurs, we've got investors, we've got BYU entrepreneurial college people. We've got a lot in the crowd, and so it's in city as well. So it's a fun group, and so there's a lot of good feedback. You can get a lot of perspectives. So if you're interested in presenting, just go to 1millioncups.com, check out our website under the Provo link. As a favor to the presenters, we have a hashtag, #1MC. Take a picture of them, tweet it out, Instagram it, just let everyone know that they're presenting. Shout out to Walker May for providing the goodies today. They're a cool local group that is sponsoring us this month. Free breakfast, free event, tell your friends. Appreciate you guys coming. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Each presentation is 5 to 7 minutes of presentation, and then 7 to 10 minutes of question and answer. So as these companies are presenting, think about questions that maybe you didn't get in the presentation, or ideas you have of like, wow, this would be cool if they did this, or hey, guess what, I know this guy, he might be able to help you. Things like that, think about it. I'll be walking around with the mic so you can ask those questions after the presentation. So we're gonna get started. We've got Seth with Sunbox Energy. Come on up.
All right, I'm really excited to be here. I heard about 1 Million Cups. I actually grew up in Provo, went to Provo High School, and then when I got married, my wife's from Idaho, so we moved to Idaho and raised all our kids there for about 26 years. And a friend of mine from Boise told me about 1 Million Cups. They have it in Boise. They also have it in Salt Lake, but I thought I'd check to see if there's a chapter here in Provo, and I think that's awesome. And I think it's great that so many people are here today. I had no idea there'd be this many people, but appreciate you coming. This is something that I've been working on for more than 2 years. My background, I'm an electrical engineer. I worked for a company called CH2M Hill. I did consulting engineering, and was always interested in solar. When I was a teenager, I helped my uncle build a solar power system. In solar pretty much my whole life. I do have a company in Boise called Innovus Solar, and that company is now owned by investors. I still have shares in the company, but I've been not actively involved in that company for probably 5 years. This idea I actually thought of when I was doing the light pole company, but I haven't any time to do anything with it because I was so engaged with my current project. And so, like I said, more than 2 years ago, I started building the first Sunbox. And so here's the background on solar. For those of you who are not familiar with solar, here in the US, the market is over 13 billion. It's the size of the market here in the US. Globally, it's 360 billion. Sounds like a big market, right? Compared to other sources of energy, renewables are only 19%, and solar is 2% of that. So it's less than half of 1% of the entire energy market in the world. So solar is expected to have a lot of growth. The Holy Grail, let me go on to the next slide here. The Holy Grail for solar has been $1 a watt. The reason for that is coal is about $2 a watt. So once solar hits $1 a watt, it's the cheapest form of energy on the planet. Right now, coal is the cheapest way to make electricity. Here in Utah, over 70%, or actually over 80% of our electricity comes from burning coal. And so that is the cheapest way, or has been the cheapest way to do it. But right now, actually this figure, 80 cents a watt, is actually a little high. It's actually, for industrial, for the megawatt plants, it's closer to 60 cents a watt for the solar panels themselves, which is the heart of the system. Power continues to increase, and together with the increase in power costs and also the reduction in cost of solar, makes a perfect storm for the explosive growth in solar that everyone is predicting. And actually it is happening already. And what I wanted to show you here is this blue bar here talks about delivery costs, and that's infrastructure to build out to get the electricity to the building that you're trying to get power to. If you look at what it is, this is back in 2011, it's even more than that now, but more than half of the cost of your electricity is just to get it to the building. This is an example of prices in Europe. Here in Utah, we're pretty cheap. We're only about 12 cents a kilowatt hour. But you can see in Europe, like Germany, for example, is 30 cents a kilowatt hour. The ASEAN is basically a group of nations in Asia that all work together with their power distribution. And if you look at places like Burma, this 34%, the second one down, cost, but the losses in energy getting it from point A to point B. And so you've got infrastructure costs that make power delivery expensive. You also have line loss and other things. For example, in Indonesia, what they do is they haul barrels of diesel fuel out to the islands and drop the barrels on the beach. And then they drag them up to the power station and burn diesel fuel to produce electricity. Extremely expensive. They're close to $1 a watt in some parts of Indonesia. And so what the Sunbox is a solution to this problem that we have with getting solar in the hands of people who need it. The Sunbox is a simple box that has batteries in it, has the inverter in it, has the charge controller, has everything you need. It's basically a portable power station. A single box provides about 500 watt hours per day. 10 boxes we have our first customer in the Mill Creek area in Salt Lake, and they have a 10-box system. His system produces 5 kilowatt hours per day. If you look on your power bill, you're either daily or monthly, and so you can check to see what your consumption is. Most Americans spend between 20 and 50 kilowatt hours per day. The average home in China uses 5 kilowatt hours per day. So you can see that we're not really that economical or conservative when it comes to how much energy we use. But the point is, with 5 kilowatt hours, the system that we have in Mill Creek, that's enough to power an average house in China. And that's a 10-box system. And so this one box is 1/10 of what you would need for a house in China. Our 10-box system, we're selling right now, we have a Kickstarter campaign for $6,800. We actually have one system that's pretty close to the price of a grid-tied system. So right now, here in Utah, for a grid-tied system, it's about $5 a watt. Our Sunbox, we have one of our systems that's about the same cost. Most of the cost difference has to do with having an electrician, labor of the electrician versus batteries. On our system, the largest portion of the cost goes to the storage of the electricity. And so it's roughly the same cost as a grid-tied system. 2 years ago, we filed a provisional patent. There's several things that are unique about our system. The Sunbox is completely self-contained. And so that's one thing that's unique about it. The other thing is that you can add multiple boxes if you don't have enough power. It's a plug-and-play system, so you can just add more boxes to increase your power output. Our non-provisional utility patent, actually, we filed in November of last year. I just last week got notice that they're publishing it. The published date is June 30th of 2016. So that means that we probably won't see it for maybe 6 months. You know how the government is, but I filed a lot of patents on my other solar products, and they generally take about 3 years to get the patent finalized. This just shows the competitive landscape, what there is out there now. There's systems like Goal Zero, which is here in Salt Lake City. Theirs is a multiple component system. Actually, all three of these that I have shown have the battery separate from the solar panel, and so you connect together the different parts and pieces to build your system. None of them are an all-encompass system in one box like ours is, and also they're not easily expandable, and that's what I'm describing here, that it's modular. All you have to do is plug in an extra box and you have more power. We actually have a project in Salt Lake that we're working on now that has a 480 volt piece of machinery that they want to run off the Sunbox. And so obviously we're going to need more than 10 Sunboxes, but that system, the inverter, all we have to do is specify the inverter at whatever voltage we need. Same thing with other countries that have different requirements for power. This is our business model. I have a copy of it that I could get to any of you who would be interested, where we go through and analyze all the different market segments and value propositions and talk about the details of the business. Our initial startup costs, we've already invested in actual cash money about $40,000. The Kickstarter campaign that we have going right now is for $125,000. This is the cost of an individual unit. Our costs, and this is based on low volume, is $585. I have a company I'm working with. It's actually the company that manufactured our LED luminaire for our solar light pole. It's $1 billion company. It's called Akbel Polytech in Taiwan. Has told me that they can get the prices down at least 40 to 50% on our component costs. But these costs are based on what I can buy it for today, one at a time. So the Kickstarter cost is roughly $800 per box, which is less than $1,000 for one box. This just tells what we're planning on doing with the investment capital to take us to the next stage. Like I said, we do have current customers who have already bought boxes. They understood that the boxes they're buying are a prototype. It does have Wi-Fi, and we'll have that up on our website soon, where it shows the production of the solar, how much is being used, how much capacity is left in the battery. So all those details are available both on the website and also on your phone. This is our leadership team. My brother Paul has a lot of business background. Keith Mosley is our legal counsel, and then Aaron Meyer, his background is in firmware engineering. That's pretty much it. Thank you for your time. Go ahead.
So we have a good question right here. Oh, sorry, I cut in front of you. So I didn't. First, I think it's really cool, and when you present, you have to go to the lowest common denominator, which in this room is probably me. I don't really understand what you do compared to others, because from what I heard, you can power a house in China or 1/10 of a house in the US, and so I can't really tell what the value proposition is. Why would I buy you versus someone else? And what exactly do you do that makes it cool to power a house in China but not my house? 10 of those on my house rooftop.
Excellent question. This is a way abbreviated presentation and I didn't tell the basics, so I'm glad that you asked that question. So the basics are this. What's different about this solar panel than what you put on your house? All these solar companies in Utah that are throwing solar panels up on people's roofs are a grid-tied system. And so if you put your roof and you tie it to the grid, what that does is it provides solar energy to your house, and then it uses the grid to store the energy. So at night, you're running off grid power. During the day, you're actually pushing electricity back onto the grid. And so your neighbors essentially are buying that electricity. So the power company will give you a credit for that energy that you're overproducing during the day, and then they charge you for the electricity you use at night. What is different about this is that there's no utility company involved. It has batteries to store. So rather than using the grid to store your electricity, you're storing it in the batteries. And so you essentially don't need to connect to the grid. The other problem with the grid-tied system is that when the grid goes down, so do you. So even if it's during the day and the sun is shining and your solar panels can produce electricity, they're not allowed to because there's no grid to connect to. And so you don't have any power in your house while the grid is down. So a lot of our customers, the reason they're buying this is for emergencies. So if there's an outage that lasts more than an hour or two, that company I was telling you about in Salt Lake that wants this one piece of machinery on it, if the power goes down, it doesn't matter day or night because they run 24/7, they have no power. And so what this is essentially a UPS.
So you're walking into so it's a growing industry, obviously, but it's a very competitive and crowded industry right now. It sounds like Tesla Solar City is trying to do basically the exact same thing on I think a larger scale. So how do you kind of come into the market, and I guess even relative to what your just answer was, how do you present the value to the customer? Is this providing me power during the day, or is it just a backup, or I mean, I'm just kind of trying to figure out where it fits.
Yes, it does give you power during the day. So you're running on this system 24/7. Anything you have connected to it is powered all the time. Does that answer your question?
So, and then competitive landscape. How are you facing off against?
So what's different about this versus Tesla is also connected to your house, just like the grid. You're still connected to the grid. You're not getting rid of that problem of being connected to the utility. This allows you to be completely autonomous. Again, and another thing is if you move, then that system stays with the house. So whether or not you can get the value out of it, I mean, hopefully you can sell your house for enough more to cover the cost of a $100,000 solar power system with Tesla batteries. You know what I'm saying? Oh.
So you said you have a couple of prototypes going. How many do you have going, and what type of problems are you seeing with that so far that you've had to overcome?
So the first system that we installed was over a year ago, and so we've been through both the winter and the summer. The biggest problem that we encountered was with the batteries, and we knew that would be the case. Our solar light pole, we had the same problem that we had to address. Utah is a prime place to test it because it gets cold enough in the winter that we can see what happens when the battery gets cold. It's hot enough in the summer, we can see what happens when the battery gets hot. So all of those problems have been resolved.
How much power does it put out per box again?
500 watt hours.
And how does that, what does that compare? Can you compare that to, what does that mean?
Well, if you look on your power bill, it's in kilowatt hours. And so if you get 2 Sunboxes, that's 1 kilowatt hour per day. And so if you look, for example, like I said, here in the US, we use between 20 and 50 kilowatt hours per day. If you look on your power bill, you'll know, what your daily consumption is. It's listed in kilowatt hours. I can help you with that if you want.
Yeah, I've got a two-part question.
Okay, right.
One is, what's the MTBF of the battery, and then what are the costs of that?
The what of the battery?
MTBF, mean time between failure.
Oh, okay. So the battery that we're using, and that's why it's so more robust. With our light pole, we started using HEM batteries, which is an absorbent glass mat. Those are 300 to 500 cycles. The one that we're using now is a lithium iron phosphate. It's 3,000 cycles. The energy density is much less. That's why this single Sunbox weighs 38 pounds, extremely lightweight. What was the second part of the question? Oh, the cost. The cost is much higher than a AGM battery, but when you look at the cost per year, this is a 10+ battery. We've got light poles that it's been in for 15 years without failure. So if you look at the cost per year, this is actually cheaper than any other battery on the market. It's just a little bit higher upfront cost.
So modular has specific advantages. What about the cost compared to your competitors? What does that look like?
Yeah, and I actually have that on my business model, and I can give you a copy of that. But we are actually less than any of those competitors I listed. We're less than goal zero as far as the cost per kilowatt hour.
So based off consumer education, I think obviously a lot of people have a lot of questions and might not know a lot about this product. It's a newer type of product. So how are you marketing this product? What's your marketing strategy behind this?
So we've just barely started. In fact, we haven't spent hardly anything on marketing. The first test that we've done is we launched it on Kickstarter, and we've been getting a lot of response off that. So that's, I mean, going forward, I can show you the business plan, but we've got a number of different ways that we're going to do the marketing. One is there's grid-tied solar companies that are out there every day selling grid-tied systems to residential customers. A lot of them don't have a solution to the problem with it going down when the grid goes down. And so they can either get a Tesla battery or they can get a few Sunboxes to get around that problem. So that's just one option. Did you have a question?
Yeah, so your trade name, you know, there's another Kickstarter with Sunbox name, and there's Sunbox.com is a light therapy, so it's electricity light related. What have you done on your, I'm worried about your trade name.
So I don't know if you noticed, but even at the beginning of this, we put, we're putting the trademark symbol on the Sunbox. I did research into that, and it's not, you know, we had our patent attorney check into that, and it's not been registered, the Sunbox name. And so by putting the TM next to it, that reserves it for us to file, and it's only a few $1,000s to file to get the registered trademark on it.
So in my case, my house is connected to the grid. I'm kind of curious, cost advantage. How much does it cost to set up? How much does it save per month on my power bill versus one that is connected to the grid? How much does it cost to set up, and how much per month would I save on my power bill?
So it's roughly the same as a grid-tied system. And the way the grid-tied system works here in Utah is it's about a 10 to 15-year payback is what it is. So people who finance it, they're paying about the same for their loan payment as what they're paying to the utility company, is what it works out to.
So do you, because it's at night, you have to, do you make more money with this one or less money with this one, or is it really just a wash?
It's a wash.
All right, last question. What can we do as a 1 Million Cups community for you?
So if every person here, and I've got enough cards for every one of you, if each of you would just put $1 to my Kickstarter campaign, the metrics, how things work with Kickstarter is if you get, from what I've investigated, over about 150 to 200 backers. We're at about 72 right now. If we can get over 150 to 200, then they will start promoting our product and our system. So that's the one thing that each and every one of you could do.
How do we find your Kickstarter?
Just go to my website, and there's a little circle with a K, and just click on that K on our website, and that'll take you right to Kickstarter.
What's your domain?
Sun-box.com.
Awesome.
Just like it's written right there with the hyphen.
Perfect.
Just like he was saying, there's one that's called Sunbox without a hyphen, and that's not us. And even if you search for Sun-box, that other Sunbox is going to come up.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very cool. Another round of applause. It takes a lot of courage to come up and take your questions. Believe it or not. All right, so we've got 2 more presenters. So we're gonna have Walker May come up and present here in a minute. They're our local sponsor for this week. They do a lot of cool stuff here in the community, so we're gonna let them spend a few minutes kind of sharing what they do, and then we'll have hype events come up afterwards. So let them get set up. And in the meantime, we'll have an announcement by Startup Christian.
Hey, just reminding what I said last week, July 27th up at the Salt Mine, which is a co-working space in Salt Lake County. Vincent Dignan, a world-class growth hacker from London, England, is going to be in state. He won Best Presenter at South by Southwest. He's a guru. Anybody that attends his presentations, it's the densest, most thick, useful information I've ever seen in any conference presentation. And he's going to be here in Utah, July 27th, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Dev Mountain Market Campus, Startup Ignition are hosting him. There's going to be pizza and food and all sorts of stuff, and it's free. July 27th, 7 p.m. Salt Mine. Thanks.
Very cool. All right, here we go.
Good morning, 1 Million Cups. My name is Joe Martell. I'm a CPA, not much of an entrepreneur. I always wanted to be, but hey, I'm too risk averse. Sorry. That's all right. I guess I'll start off by telling you a little bit about me and then a little bit about accounting, which is something that I really love. So if I can get this. I want to flash back to 1988. This is a picture of me and my brother. Obviously having fun on the metal fence. I think this is at San Diego Zoo. I can't remember. But I think it's good to point out, actually this one's me. So in the relationship between my brother and the fence, I think I'm the third wheel. It's usually been that way, so the little brother is always outshone. But I knew I was destined from an early age that I was headed for the back office, and that's okay. I've done a lot of things on the way, and oh, here's a real gem. See this guy on the left? Do you remember this?
Not really, but for sure me.
This is before Anders' hair was out of control. And it's just funny that in certain circumstances in life, you run into people you haven't seen for 10 years. Well, that's what happened when I walked in 1 Million Cups. So yeah, there's something back in history there. I studied geology at BYU Alta. Anyway, I ended up as an accountant. So I think it's stuck. The rest of the stuff was really boring. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but never had the guts to actually do something like that. I ended up in accounting, and it was actually a good thing for me because it gives me the opportunity to jump into a variety of businesses and help out. We'll just let it sit a while. It doesn't need to go anywhere. The only thing else I was going to show you was a really beautiful income statement. We'll forget about it. So I love working in small businesses because for me, it's like a game. And you guys all get to be in that game. And I want to be here to help. So I'm here as a support. When you start a business, you have the ops side and you have the sales side. But then the third wheel is this accounting portion. I understand the ops side and the sales side because you make a product and you have to move it through salespeople. What's the accounting there for? The essence of accounting is accountability, in my opinion. Being able to report to people you are accountable to. So the best accountant in any business is you, because you run your business and no one knows your business like you do. But there's a certain point in your career when you have to have another accountant. That's if you are reporting to, say, a bank or to an investor, because you are playing with their money. And there's another time when you may need an accountant. You simply don't have the time to do the books. And that happens when you start to scale. So if you ever get to one of those points, we can talk about that. But I know that, you know, as we're all starting out doing these small businesses, and we want to grow, we want to scale, you're going to have questions. And I want you guys to feel like you can come and talk to me anytime. So I'm available, and I'm here to help. Anyway, my name is Joe Martell with Walker Bank. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, thanks, Joe. You know, it takes a village to run a business, and you got to find reliable partners. You don't really think about it, but you've got your landlord, who, you know, if you want to have an office space, you got to deal with. They do a lot to kind of help you get started. Accounting, you've got lawyers, you got, you know, let's say all of a sudden you create a product and then, you know, someone stuff and come sue you. You don't think about it, then you got to find a lawyer. So it's fun, you know, in this community to find partners that you can work with. And so we try and connect with people that we think do a good job and let them come in. So Walker Maze one. If you have any questions, just give a shout out to them. So we're gonna appreciate it, Joe. And thanks for the picture of Anders. That was beautiful. All right, we're gonna get started. We've got hype events here. We're gonna go ahead and you guys ready to go? Almost? All right. All right.
Woo!
All right, so everyone, my name is Darius Myers, and here's my business partner, Cody Scott, and we are Hype Events.
So Darius and I met at Snow College. We played football together. We came up with this app idea called Hype. We entered the entrepreneurship competition at Snow College, where we took first place. And then we moved on to Utah University, where we competed in the Utah Entrepreneur Challenge. We placed top 20 in the state. It's not too good. And then we just entered another competition called the Founders Startup Pitch Competition in New York City. It's going to take place in August or September? Around August. So that's kind of our background.
Okay, so we discovered a problem in the event and social media industry. We have tons of friends that always have the problem of finding events or hearing about an event afterhand. I'm pretty sure everyone in this room has experienced that problem, where you've seen an event that you wanted to go to but just heard about it afterhand when it already had happened. So we wanted to solve the problem for people to engage with events and see these events and like have one go-to platform for people to find events and socially connect with other people and users as well. So we created Hype Events.
And just like Darius said, if you think about how many millions of events happen every single day, and how many millions of people need to hear about events, but there's not a go-to platform for it. And so with Hype, we just wanted to create an event platform that people could socialize on from any background, whether it's nightlife or a professional background or religious, you know, no matter what it is, with Hype, you can promote your event that way. Also, we just wanted to create a social network that connected people in real life. If you look at most of the social networks nowadays, you have a lot of connections and a lot of friends, but it's still like at least 98% virtual. And I'm sure every person in this room has a handful of friends on Facebook that you've never actually met in real life. And we just wanted to change that and, you know, bring people together socially.
Okay, so everyone knows there's no go-to platform for events and connecting with people socially. So that's a really big innovative feature. We also are going to implement ad features to our app, such as live streaming, which has been major in the few updates from the new apps that have came out. We also wanted to explain to you guys about big contributors, like for instance, Taylor Swift. She has millions and thousands of followings, And it's hard to just find events through like certain links. So we would let our big contributors put their links to their events on their profile so people could easily find the tickets to the events so they could attend the events. And this will highly increase the rate of attendees at each event as well. So we have been doing the type of events to market. We have been connecting with the big event industries in Utah, and we have been hosting and sponsoring events around Utah, Salt Lake City, Provo, the whole Utah County, the whole 9 yards. So we've connected with LiveNet events. We've connected with Sack Lunch Productions, the owner of Slide the City. We've also connected and was at Splash Fest and met other artists that actually felt like our app would help their business and their followings as well, and get the most advertisement out of their company and their brand. And we are actually working towards being in Sundance Film Festival. We have an upcoming event called the Led Zeppelin Encounter. It's a Led Zeppelin tribute, which we will have artists from California and Utah come and share their love for Led Zeppelin and just express their musical talent. And we wanted to test run that before they put it in Sundance Film Festival. We're working with Gary Robinson, founder of Made in Utah Music Foundation, and that's the way we will be able to plug into Sundance Film Festival. So we are working with a PR group called Synergy, and they want to release our app in Sundance Film Festival to help celebrities and artists get to their events, because there's hundreds of events that happen during the day of Sundance Film Festival, and this could be a major accomplishment for our company for advertising as well.
So two of the biggest opportunities we're looking for right now are funding and development. We want to expand our development team and just bring in some additional funding. The app, it's a huge app. It takes live streaming. We're going to connect people across the world. It's going to be global. So we need quite a bit of money to build something like that, and we need a lot of developers.
And one of the big features that I really wanted to point out is our locational features. We want people to be able to post their own public or private event. For instance, this event, we heard about it on Twitter. On Twitter. So we wanted to be able to have everyone post their own public or private event. So if this was publicly featured on your app, everyone in the location within a certain radius that they set on their phone would see every publicly featured event that's trending and happening live at that moment. So people could honestly be at home, go on their phone and see that this is going on right now and be able to attend this event because they see it publicly on their phone. And that's what really benefit and change the whole event industry along with social media.
That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right, questions? Got a question? We'll start up front.
So you mentioned that there's not a lot of apps out there. It sounds like your biggest competition is probably Facebook. But you tell me a little bit more about your competition and why you're going to be significantly better than them.
Well, for one, Facebook does have the best opportunity because they already have billions of users. Eventbrite is another competitor, but they're just a ticketing platform. They don't have the social networking that we do. Meetup is somewhat similar, but again, that's just it's kind of an announcement board for events. It doesn't involve the live streaming and the locational features. Well, it does have locational features, but not like ours. Ours is really a complete social network. It's like Facebook and Twitter, where it's an open platform. It's all inclusive. It's just formed around events. So really our advantage is that we have every feature you can use for events, plus plus the social engagement.
Awesome. I really like the product, by the way. Do you mind walking us through the process of how an event would actually be placed on the app? Like, do people need profiles? Are they able to just come in one time and just leave an event?
Okay, so each user will be able to create their own profile, just like a Twitter profile and page. To create a public or private event, it's gonna be the same thing as like posting a picture on Instagram. You add the description. We didn't want, no one likes to see a whole bunch of flyers about events that people try to put on Instagram. You don't want to see it. I unfollow people when they do that. It's not interesting. It just messes my whole timeline up. So we wanted to be able to integrate the description of an abbreviation, a preview, and a picture posting, and you click onto it. You can also find out how many people are attending that event, when is it happening, everything, all the information that you need to know about the event. And that's really going to be easily accessible. That's what we want for our users to have, is easily accessible and be native to the platform that we are creating.
So you say you have competitors, Eventbrite and Meetup, and those are the two that I would go immediately to. What's going to stop them from just picking up on these same features? Because they've already got the user base, they've already got all the features built in, except for maybe a couple like the live streaming. What are you going to do? Because a competition, you guys come up a little bit, competition could come in and just squash it.
That's a great question. So the problem with Eventbrite and Meetup is their customers know them as a ticketing platform and as an announcement board. So to change your entire platform would, they use a lot of users, lose a lot of users in the process. Yeah, that's what I meant. Eventbrite is a ticketing platform, Meetup's an announcement board. And if you change your whole design platform just to meet a competitor that's brand new, you're probably going to lose a lot of users. It's not something that it's a common fear to have, that competition will just take you out by adding your features, but in reality that doesn't happen, especially for new apps like us. We don't have, Eventbrite doesn't respect us right now, or Meetup, so chances of not likely.
And in most cases, most millennials do not have Eventbrite or Meetup downloaded on their app. On their phone for an app to use on a day-to-day basis. Most people just click the links to find events and purchase tickets. What we're saying is we're making a platform that people could actually engage socially. That's what's going to keep our users to use our platform and keep them engaged with other people to find out if their friends are going. It's going to tell you which of your friends are going, who's going. That's the information that people want to know. Like, people text each other like, is the party live? Is it great? You will be able to see that through the live streaming feature when the event is live. And it's just features that we have that will keep our users engaged with it on a day-to-day basis, rather than just using Eventbrite or Meetup just to find an event for like one time, or like Eventbrite to purchase a ticket for a concert or event.
This last year, there were no less than 7 event-based ideas submitted to the BYU startup competitions. So I'd love to see you solve the problem so we can stop hearing people submit this problem. Obviously, there's a huge pain in the college market. I don't believe that there's a pain outside of the college market. So my recommendation to you would be to focus the way Facebook did on specific campuses and surrounding the campuses and the university, and really just nail that and keep it exclusive for as long as you can, and make it so that there's some sort of desire for other campuses to have it, and really be campus focused, and not your messaging I'm hearing is we're going to do everything for everybody and be this huge platform that's going to be everywhere. And I would say keep your focus more niche, more narrow. And I think there is pain there. But it's just limited to the college market.
Yes. So one of our marketing strategies, we wanted to plug into each college. So we both came from Snow College. We created a website called Badger Weekly for Snow College students. Could go on that link. We created a QR code for students to scan so they could find out what events are happening on campus. And we gave them, we went around to local stores, gave students promo codes like discounts on certain stores. But we tested that because we want to contact colleges and have them enter us in their syllabus week. So we could they could use our platform for syllabus week. Colleges have thousands and thousands of following, so obviously people are going to find out what's the events. Like, people don't want to follow the college's Instagram really because it's going to tell, like, people really don't want to hear like, oh, 2 students received $2,500 in funding because of their accomplishment. People want to find out what's happening on campus and things to do in the college atmosphere. So we wanted to plug into syllabus week and have colleges create a platform for all students to go to find out about each event happening each week and on a day-to-day basis throughout the year. So that would really highly increase our market of users as well.
So I really like this idea, and I think it could be successful even outside of the college area. I think that, recently Bumble did a spinoff and did Bumble BFF to make friends with people around you. Do you ever see yourself collaborating with Bumble or Tinder or anything like that?
I like the idea of collaborating with Uber because I just love how innovative that technology is. You could get an Uber within 2 minutes. That will really help people get back and forth from their events. We don't really want to mix and collaborate with other companies yet because we just want to like understand how we are reaching our customers and our users first, just to have a better understanding for us as our own developers and users. So in the long run, like Uber would be a good partnership just to provide the transportation aspect of each event. And we'll look further into collaborating with other companies that would help benefit us as well. Thank you.
Silence is good to let some questions percolate. All right, 3. You see that?
There was a company with people from Utah County here involved, and Dave McClure, one of the top big angels in Silicon Valley, called PlanCast. Back in 2010, that launched and received $800,000, and they ultimately failed. If you wanted to talk to those people involved in that, because it was about going and finding what events your friends are going to, and it would push it to you so you could see what your friends are attending and that type of thing. If you were interested in that, or if you know about PlanCast, you should just study that case to see why they failed.
Yeah, we've actually talked to one of the founders at the Utah Entrepreneurship Challenge. He told us, he showed us the app, and the design wasn't, complete, and there's some other problems that they ran into. And he gave us advice on what things to avoid going into it.
And I think that this app, I mean, if a college community wants to get involved with it, that's great. Old guys know about old guy stuff too. So, if this was adaptable, so to, you put in your profile and you get the stuff that you want to find out about, I think that's a great app. So, yeah.
You're like a super, you're super cool, guys. So let me check. Any more gonna get a question over here?
So, like, how far are you guys with development, and what are kind of your needs with funding and development? I'm just curious about that.
So with funding and development, we really wanted to promote advertisement because we really don't hear about apps before they come out. That's not usual, and that's one benefit that we have, and we're like a step forward because we've hosted and promoted and sponsored events within the ranges of 3,000, 5,000, 6,000. So a lot of people know who we are in the Utah area, and we're going to be spreading to Arizona this coming fall. I'll be out in Arizona, and he's going to be out in Arizona. And what we want to do is have funds to really heavily advertise our app before the launch, so people are ready for the launch date. We're thinking about hosting about 5 events in different regions of the U.S. During the same night, and we're going to promote. To be able to get into the event, you have to download the app and purchase the ticket through our app. So that will really be a huge number of downloads already. If we have, attendance within the 5,000 range. But as far as development, we have a team of developers, but we really want to make sure our app and UI design is very savvy and very nice and native to the user. We do not want to produce an app that looks, unfinished or not up to par. So we really want a team of developers, and we want funding for that. So if we have a team of developers that we could trust and that are design savvy and could put in the work that we need and the features that we can implement, we would in no doubt be successful.
Awesome. Last question. What can we do as a 1 Million Cups community for you?
Really, we need the connections, and we really want the funding for advertisement and development. So if there's any connection that we can make, or you guys know that you guys can connect us to, we would love for you guys to send them our way so we can continue the process of producing this problem that everyone's facing today.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very cool. Just a shout out to everyone who is posting pictures.